Today I'm going to talk about sadness versus depression. A lot of people think they're different, which they are, but they can be easily confused. And let me start with sadness first. What is sadness? Sadness is a healing emotion. When you're sad, something happens to you, you lose someone that you love, or something tragic happens, and you feel sad as tears come down your cheeks. It's very healing. The tears heal. So sadness is a healing emotion, and it's a wonderful emotion because at the end of it, you feel better. It's a gift that we have, and it's a wonderful gift that we have. Depression, on the other hand, is a very negative, caustic experience that happens to us. When we're depressed, we are thinking very negative thoughts, usually thoughts like, I'm never going to get better, this is horrible, I hate my life, I hate myself. And those thoughts look like depression. They may even feel like depression, meaning that tears may flow, but you're not going to feel better. At the end of a depressive thought experience, you're going to not feel better. You're actually going to feel worse, or just as badly. So it's really important to learn the difference between sadness, which heals, and depression, which does not heal. And let me give a couple stories to illustrate that. Many years ago, I had a client named Kim. And Kim came to me, and she was very depressed. I mean, severely depressed, suicidally depressed. What had happened to her is, it was about 6 months prior, her son, who she loved very much, was in his crib sleeping, and she was on the phone, and she had been talking for a while. And when she went back to check on him, he was dead. He had died of SIDS, and she was horrified, of course. I mean, what a terrible tragedy. But what she did with that is she blamed herself. She said, oh my goodness, I'm a terrible mother. What did I do to my son? I've killed him. And she took it so far that she actually had songs she created in her head, calling herself Kim the Killer, Kim the Baby Killer. And she just was constantly beating herself up. And so when she came to me, she wasn't feeling better. She wasn't getting better. She was doing horribly. So what I had her do is start grieving. I actually had her go to the grave where her son was and talk to him about she didn't mean for him to die. She totally loved him, and let her tears flow, realizing that she would get better, which she did, but she let the tears flow. So that's an example of depression, because when she was depressed, she wasn't getting better. So another example I want to share with you is my own. Many years ago, when I was in graduate school, I had a cat named Tibet, and I love animals and I love cats, and he was my first cat I was able to get outside of moving out of home. I got my first place where I could have a cat, and I was so excited, and I just loved this cat. I mean, he was the greatest cat I've ever had. And about 2 years after having him, the vet discovered that he had feline leukemia. He came with it, but I didn't know he had that. So he died. And it was very sad for me because I just loved this cat. His name was Tibet. And so what happened was, we had this song that him and I used to dance to. I'd hold him right here, and we would just dance around the room anytime the song came on. So what happened was, every time that song came on, I would dance with Tibet and allow myself to just feel that sadness. So what I mean is, when the song came on, I would allow myself to feel the sadness, because anytime I heard it, I would just be sad. I would miss him, I would grieve him, but the tears would flow. And it took me about 2 years. It wasn't that I was sad for 2 years straight, but when that song, anytime I heard that song, I allowed myself to be sad, and I always feel better. And after 2 years, it's been many years, I can now listen to that song anytime and feel fine. So sadness heals, depression doesn't. That's the biggest differentiation between the two of them. Sadness heals, depression does not heal.